Bass Talk, Wednesday night bass talk. It is Freekbass. Hope you're having a great week so far and everything's going good. If this is your first time hanging out with me here on a Wednesday night, I'm here every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here at the Facebook page and over now at the YouTube page, which is, if you're at the YouTube page, you know where you're at. If you haven't been over to the YouTube page and you're on Facebook world, make a little step over there sometime. That's just youtube.com, the Freekbass channel, like that. And in either one of the places, if you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate that. And if you're on YouTube, please share this video and also hit the live notification so you know when we're live. We're live all the time. We got all kinds of stuff here happening at both places, including this Saturday night 9 p.m. Every Saturday I do something called Saturday Night Chit Chat with a new guest each week. And this week we have, speaking of bass players, a bass player. We've got Karina Reichman, who, you know, you might know her from, she tours with Marco Benevento, has her own group too as well. Super talented, super creative bass player. And so she's going to be joining me this Saturday. But point is, you are here now, so let's talk about this. So I was thinking, what am I going to do tonight? I always think about what we're going to do each week. And, you know, over the last few weeks, we've talked so many different techniques, a lot to do with thumping and plucking. You know, we've talked about percussive techniques. We talked about, I believe last week, we talked about a little bit of palm muting, just all kinds of stuff, musical things. So I wanted to really break it down before we moved on to some other stuff next week and kind of wrap it all up in a nice little bow. How to use, like, do some double thumb stuff, some palm muting stuff, and also respect the space. And that's why there's a track of mine that I used. It's we have a record out. It's a live album from, almost 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about. It's called Groove Yard. It was recorded in Cincinnati, Ohio at the 20th century. Mr. Chip Wilson on drums, T. Sly on guitar. And we had this little jam we used to do called P Leather. It was actually from an old album of mine. And then we kind of, you know, it became a whole new little entity from playing it live so many times. But one of the main thing you heard as you chimed in the show tonight was that main groove, and it was it's a lot of double thumb stuff, but really mimicking almost a rhythm guitar part, but on the bass. So very Catfish Collins, a la James Brown era style of playing. So you'll hear us when we kind of first kick in. Both T-Sly started almost kind of mimicking what I was doing on bass, and I was doing just a little chromatic walk. So, notes-wise, super simple what I'm doing. I'm just going G sharp A, you know, 5 5 6 7 on my D. So we're in the key of A. So I'm just kind of starting on that minor seventh and walking up to the A. But what I'm doing, obviously you can hear I'm doing a lot of double thumb stuff. But if I was just doing it with no pull off and give with my left hand, it would just sound like this. Which is the way I would actually, if you're trying to kind of work on this double thumb technique, that is the way I would actually start off by practicing it. Don't worry about all the little extra ghost note stuff yet. We'll talk about that in a second. But I would just start off just trying to do even notes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. From 5 5 5 5 5 5 6 7 if you're talking about frets, or G sharp A, like that. Now again, I talk about this a lot with double thumb stuff. Notice my thumb is never physically moving up and down. It's all from my wrist, you know, almost as if I was holding a pick in my hand, but it's coming from my thumb, like that. Like that, and I'm walking up to that A. Now every other time you'll hear me in T-Sly too, we'll do, you know, a minor third, which is C down to A, And I'm just literally plucking the C, thumping the A. Just a regular thump right on my thumb bone right there. And then I'll just reverse it on the other time out. Just go up an octave like that, just to kind of change it up a little bit. But main thing, but I'm doing what I like to call the hard mute bounce, is where I'm letting the pressure on and off my fingerboard as I'm walking up to those notes, which gives you some ghost notes and also just some ghost notes basically. So essentially, most of the time it fluctuates every time, but the most of the meat and potatoes of what I'm doing, I'm doing 2 pushes down, down, up, and then letting the finger off, down, up, but you're still hearing going through the string like that. But even when I do like that, I'm not fully pushing down on the fretboard. It's to make the notes a little shorter. I mean, I'm barely touching that fingerboard. I mean, it's just, I talk about this a lot on here, but I'm just kind of poking, same way. Again, even that it's on a bass instrument, watch Stevie Wonder play the clavinet. It's kind of like the same feeling, but you're doing it on your fingerboard instead of doing it on the the clavinet, like that, all the way across, okay? So that, and if you notice, I'm using a filter, obviously, to give a little more groove and funkiness. That filter starts bouncing off, what you're doing with all the, with a double thumb, and also how hard and how quickly you're pulling and letting up on that fingerboard too, and it kind of plays with that a little bit. Instead of going so it's just really a give and play on that. But again, it all starts with, this has got to be even Steven. You don't want people to know whether you're doing an upstroke or downstroke, just like as if you're doing up and down picking a guitar. But the other thing I thought was nice about this line, the reason I brought this up, is because if you notice, there's a lot of space in there too. It's not like, we let Chip really fill it out with the drums. Like that all the way across, and really get it to where, for me, like when I'm not playing, in my mind I am still playing, so the music is still happening in my mind. It's not like, oh, no music, I don't think that way. It's just, now when there's a drummer, obviously he is filling, or in this case the drummer's filling in the space, but even if a drummer's not there, and I heard one of my old teachers, my bass teachers a long time ago when I was a kid, he said, the more you can subdivide, like if the beat's here, and the more you can subdivide it inside of your head. So instead of just hearing this in your head, you're hearing da 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 da, or even better, da 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 da, or the more you can hear that, mine swings a little bit. I'm always kind of thinking in terms of like rhythms within those beats, not just straight beats. But whatever it is, whatever style of music you do, it'll work, but just subdivide it in your head, because then you'll really feel that, again, just because you're not playing, when you're silent, silence is the music too, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not just when you are playing. I brought this up here many, many times, but, if I was stranded on a desert island and you told me to pick my favorite bass line of all time to play, definitely one of them, if not the one, would be. up it was a Rolling Stone, and look how much space is in there. I mean, you can almost have a, you know, a veggie vegan cheeseburger, which is what I would probably eat, but in the time there's that space in there, it's pretty amazing. So there we go. So yeah, so think, you know, really appreciate that space. And then in terms of the technique, I mean, I can't tell you how much, like, if you kind of, you know, use this technique, and, you know, we're doing funky and groovy stuff, but even if you're playing like heavier stuff, it's a really good technique to incorporate within your finger and your thumb playing too as well. And if you notice, when the groove kind of kicks in, we kind of go in the very kind of classic sounding, almost James Brown type bass. I was originally kind of starting more of a rhythm guitar part, and then now we're switching to like the more kind of prototypical James Brown bass line. But, you know, instead of doing it, which is cool too, and there's a lot to say about that, which we could talk about in another video, but with using the double thumb technique, so it's just, you know, I got that, there's so many ghost notes you can put in there with that double thumb stuff. I mean, it's just all playing with that space, and playing with that silence. And again, it all starts from a combination of getting this really very even, and also the interplay with how, you know, the poking at that fingerboard type situation. So mess with that one if you want to do it. I'll put a link to this track in here. It takes I mean, we're good. Let's see, where are we at when we actually kicked in on that? We're a good minute 38 seconds into the song when we kick into that part that I was just doing. It's a big jam song. The song is called P Leather. It's off our Grooveyard EP. But, you know, check it out if you want to use that. It's a fun thing to play too because of all the space and the jam too. But I mean, you know, you can just put on a straight 4 on the floor kick drum, or, you know, just a metronome and do the same thing too. Either one will work. So check that out. Let me play it one more time now that you kind of all got it in your head. Again, thank you for always being here with me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Bass Talk. I want to thank, of course, Bass Musician. If you missed this, you can obviously see it always here in the feed. And Bass Musician Magazine, I can't thank them enough. Bass Musician Magazine, every week, they reshare this too, so you can kind of see it there too. And, you know, if you see it in a group too, thank you for letting me, you know, share a little bit of something that maybe it'll help you with some of your bass playing too. So this is Freekbass. Let me play a little bit of this out, and then we'll head out. A lot of space. We always got to turn the bass all the way up. So thanks for being with me. Bass Talk. I'll see you Saturday night Chit Chat. Everybody have a great week. Bye.